The topic I chose is gun control, and I chose this topic because it is so controversial and it seems that it's always being disputed. Whenever there's a shooting, it is always brought to light that we need to change the laws in order to stop the shootings, but some have different opinions. Some of the oppositions is that the Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms, and any modification of this law would be unconstitutional. People also argue that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is by arming a good guy with a gun so he can protect himself and others. The argument is made that modifying the Second Amendment would be unconstitutional. It does state that citizens have the right to bear arms, but does not specify on what kind of arms or if they can be restricted. When the Second Amendment was written, times were extremely different, and there's no way it could have been predicted how far we'd come. At first, the Second Amendment applied to keeping and bearing firearms for military purposes. While it limited the federal government, it did not impose any limit whatsoever on what the power of the states or the local governments could do to regulate the ownership or use of firearms. This means that citizens were only given the right so that militias could be formed, and not so that your everyday person could carry a gun and be able to make the decision whether or not someone lives or dies. It also means that the states could change these laws whenever they wanted to, no matter what the amendment says. The other argument that is heard from the National Rifle Association is that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. When they say this, they mean that good people need to be carrying guns in order to protect themselves from the bad people with guns. In theory, this might make sense, but in reality, it just doesn't. In fact, it can make the whole situation way more deadly. Just imagine yourself in an area where a shooting is taking place. If the people flee or try to restrain the shooter without a gun, there might be a few deaths, but now imagine if everybody there had a gun. There would be shots ringing out from everywhere, and eventually everyone would be confused on who the original shooter was. It would lead to innocent people shooting innocent people because they thought they were the original gunman. If that scenario doesn't seem bad enough, no mass shootings have been stopped in the last 30 years by an armed civilian. So much for a good guy with a gun stopping everyone, right? This is relevant because this is almost a weekly occurrence, and many innocent people die every year because of it. And the only way that we can stop this is by restricting gun laws and making laws stricter.